back. Will Worsham joins us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion, where he answers a viewer's legal question right here on the air. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here's the question. I was injured in a collision with a hit-and-run driver. What should I do about the coverage? What do you say?
Okay, that's a really good question, because that happens from time to time. And you know, like in a normal personal injury car wreck accident, you claim against the person that hit you, and their insurance pays. If they have insurance, hopefully they are insured. But what do you do in this situation where you maybe don't know the person that hit you because they left? Well, hopefully the police will track them down. Frankly, they're pretty good about that, finding folks, you know, paint transfer, and maybe somebody got a partial plate. So they can do a lot of good work there, and they find a lot of folks. But let's just say that they don't. There's a kind of insurance that I hope you have. It's called uninsured motorist. If you have uninsured motorist coverage, most of those policies will cover in this type of situation. So I always encourage everybody, take a look at your policy and make sure you have that uninsured motorist, because a lot of times it will in fact cover in this type of situation. And it's really cheap too. It's really cheap to get.
Oh yeah, it's not an expensive part.
So it's a good add-on. So it's a quick call. They also have another type of insurance called underinsured motorist. That's another good thing to really have on your policy, because let's say it's a situation where maybe you do know who hit you, but their coverage limits are low enough that they can't fully compensate you for the injuries that you suffered. You can claim on your own underinsured motorist policy in order to get the additional...
Makes up the difference?
Makes up the difference. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good...
So that would be helpful to have. So that's something to look into if you don't have that. What's the best way of going about finding those witnesses that might help you out? Well,
when you're on the scene, I mean, you need to collect that information right then and there. You know, anybody that's around, you know, hopefully they'll stop. You know, and they'll stop and give you their information and say, oh, I saw what happened. You know, it was a blue car. It was a, you know, the plate looked like it was this. Even better, I saw the driver. You know, and they can get a look at who the driver was and give a physical description of the driver. That's also very, very helpful, very important in cases like this, because a lot of cars can look the same, but knowing who the driver was, the car can't be guilty. The car can't be liable for anything. It's an object. It's a person that you have to find liable. So yeah, great question about who the witnesses are.
And I mean, you can be dazed. I mean, it's tough to remember that, but I would imagine as soon as you can, start gathering as much information, take pictures.
Yeah, pictures and video. We've talked about that a little bit before. Everybody's got the cell phones now with the smartphones with video, audio recording capability. Anything that you can record at the time is going to be really helpful later in avoiding a mistake, or that your memory's kind of faded a little bit, so that you know that you've got the right information when it comes time to do something else later on in the case.
You say the police are good at sometimes helping track this down. Would you have any luck if you went to, say, a gas station or something nearby that might have had a security camera?
You know, that's
Does it just depend on the individual business whether or not they're going to turn that over to you?
Well, you know, that's a possibility, and actually the Springfield Police Department now just put out a new policy where they're asking local businesses to voluntarily register that they have a security camera, so that if the police think that you have a camera that might have captured something, that they can then go to you and they can ask you to turn it over. You're not compelled to do so at that point. Now later they could seek a subpoena and try to get it. But they're just simply asking business owners to say, let us know, you know, if you've got the camera and how long you keep the footage.
I would say look around, because there are many more cameras out there than I think people are aware of.
Oh, absolutely. They're all over the place.
There are lots of implications here. Will, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. All right, if you have a legal question for Will, email him at wworsham@color10.com, and he will answer your question right here on the show. All right.